The New York Knicks had one of the biggest summers in the NBA when they traded for Mikal Bridges. They might not be done. Let's talk Julius Randle and why he may not be finishing the season in New York. I'm Trevor Lane for the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button and smash the like button for me as well. Do it real quick right now. All right, let's get into what is going on with the Knicks and Julius Randle, one of my favorite teams in the NBA. I love watching the Knicks play. Take a look at this. This is via Ian Begley. Julius Randle became eligible to sign an extension at the beginning of August. However, neither the veteran forward nor the Knicks seem to be in a rush to get an extension signed. Now, we can do Windhorse fingers here. Now, why would they do that? Think about the Knicks summer. Think about what they did. OG Anunoby, they paid him. Jalen Brunson, he took less, but they paid him. Mikal Bridges, they gave up a ton of assets in order to get him. It's very clear what this team is being built around. Anunoby, Brunson, Mikal Bridges. Those are the three guys. Randle may very well find himself as the odd man out, and his $30 million contract could become very valuable on the trade front. Take a look at this. Julius Randle, you look at what he's done over the last few years. He was an all-star last year. Injuries robbed him of much of the season, but 24 points per game, 9.2 rebounds, 5 assists. Shot just 31% from three. That's a bit lower than you would ideally like. In fact, that's low enough to where teams might ignore him on the perimeter, which could be part of the problem here. 47% from the field as well. But Julius Randle is a high usage player, which could prove to be problematic for these Knicks, who actually were pretty darn good without Julius Randle last season. In fact, with OG Anunoby on the floor last season and Julius Randle off, the Knicks were plus 19.5 points per 100 possessions. Now, it's a bit of a small sample size, but still, that is an absurd number. The versatility defensively that Anunoby gives you compared to Randle, despite the size, the physicality that Randle gives you on the boards, it could wind up being a net positive for the Knicks, particularly when you really take a look at this Knicks roster and you see guys like Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, who will now have to come off the bench because Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, and then, of course, Mitchell Robinson reclaiming the starting center job. Those are going to be your starting five. But might the Knicks actually be better off moving Julius Randle, maybe picking up another true big, so you have that Isaiah Hartenstein, who wound up joining the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Mitchell combo in the middle, and then running Josh Hart, running Dante DiVincenzo. These guys were fantastic for the Knicks last season. Perhaps using OG Anunoby as an incredibly versatile defensive four is a net positive compared to Julius Randle being out there. So what does all of this mean? Well, take a look at Julius Randle's contract, and we can see the kind of shopping that the Knicks could potentially do. Julius Randle making $29 million this coming season. Again, he's extension eligible. It is loud that the Knicks have not extended him. Clearly, they're committed to certain guys. Julius Randle, they don't know if the fit is there or not. $30 million, just shy of that this season, is pretty good spending power in terms of the trade market. You add in $31 million the following season in a player option. I think it's a pretty safe bet that he's going to pick up that player option as well. So if you're the Knicks and you see that long-term salary there and you're not sure about the fit, remember, Julius Randle as a player is at his best when he's got the basketball in his hands and he's creating. But that may no longer be the best thing for the New York Knicks when you've got guys like Jalen Brunson. Do you want to take the ball out of his hands? Probably not. Mikal Bridges, probably want to get him involved on the offensive end. OG Anunoby, you're certainly paying him to do more than just be an extremely versatile, high-level defender. Now, you can argue based on this Knicks team right now that they need Randle's size. They lost Isaiah Hartenstein last season. You could certainly use that bulk in the middle that Julius Randle provides. Look, Jericho Sims is just fine as a backup option, but might the Knicks just want to go small and use Julius Randle as a five? It's certainly worth exploring. It's worth taking a look at using Randle in that way, in addition to throwing him some minutes at power forward as well. But it may be a net positive for the Knicks to take Julius Randle's contract, flip it, and wind up getting another true big that can tag team the center position with the often injured Mitchell Robinson, and maybe even another piece as well to round out the rest of the rotation, which would again provide more minutes for Josh Hart, who's been fantastic. In fact, you could run Josh Hart as your power forward nominally and not lose much on the boards because he's one of the best rebounding guards in the NBA, bar none. Dante DiVincenzo lit it up for the Knicks last season from deep. Might that be a better solution for the Knicks than Julius Randle, who, frankly, if he continues to shoot 31% from deep, he is going to get ignored on the perimeter, and that's going to create spacing problems for the Knicks, on top of all the usage questions about whether or not you really want the ball in Randle's hands, given the other options that are on the team. Now, I will say I'm a long-standing resident of Randall Island. I like Julius Randle as a basketball player. I think he doesn't get enough credit. I just wonder if this is really the right fit for this iteration of the New York Knicks if they want to go all the way to an NBA championship, which is not out of question for this team. I like this team a lot. I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, but you want to match up with the Boston Celtics. Everybody on the floor has to be versatile. Everybody on the floor has to be able to defend multiple positions. Everybody has to be able to hit the outside shot, save for maybe the center sitting in the dunker position. And if that does not describe Julius Randle, if he's not able to stretch the floor or man that center position effectively, it could become time to move on. Now, a potentially complicating factor for the Knicks with Julius Randle, this is via Fred Katz of The Athletic. I don't believe there is a team in the NBA that would value the three-time All-Star more than the Knicks do. Neutral at best, a source said of Randle's perceived trade value. That could be problematic. Julius Randle, he's a starter for the Knicks. He's been a three-time All-Star, making $30 million. If most teams just say, you know what, Randle's a neutral value. Some teams might even see him as negative value on that contract. That could make finding the right trade a little bit difficult if teams aren't willing to give up value in order to acquire Julius Randle. And I think this is where the new collective bargaining agreement that we've talked so much about comes in. Most teams are now very, very wary of any type of long-term money, even just 2 years on a deal like Julius Randle has for a player who is not considered a core foundation piece. And I think for a lot of teams, Julius Randle would simply not be that. Good player, yes, but is he worth the money? Is he worth it with the new collective bargaining agreement, with the new salary cap tiers that we've got? When we've got the two aprons, the first tier apron and the second tier apron, in that environment, do you want to be paying Julius Randle $30 million, who, let's face it, if you're going to be a championship contending team, he probably needs to be your third best player at most. If he's your second best player, you're not contending for a championship. Realistically, he probably needs to be like your third or fourth best player, which is exactly the situation that Brandon Ingram is in right now. Nobody will trade for Brandon Ingram. Same thing with Zach LaVine, because nobody wants to pay him the kind of money that he wants, or in Zach LaVine's case, the kind of money that he's getting to be the third best player on a championship caliber team. They're getting money that says they're the second best player on the team, but you can't win a championship if that is true. So, in the new cap reality, teams are being much more wary with the long-term money that they give out, and that could be a complicating factor here for Julius Randle. But again, it's just a 2-year deal. This is not Zach LaVine territory. Neutral value is not the end of the world. The Knicks do still have some assets they could use to make some moves. So it wouldn't shock me at all if by the trade deadline, we see Julius Randle in another location, no longer in a Knicks uniform. Again, I like Julius Randle a lot, but I question the fit. I question his usage. And given the fact that the Knicks are not working on an extension with Julius Randle right now, I think that speaks volumes about how the Knicks see him and them questioning that fit as well, which means we could very well see Julius Randle moved on to another location by the trade deadline coming up at the beginning of February, and the Knicks turning him into some pieces that they think can help them make a championship push. But everybody, give me your thoughts on Julius Randle with the Knicks. Should they move on from him? Should they keep him? Can he fit with a new look New York Knicks? Give me your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget, go check our most recent video breaking down the different point guard tiers around the NBA. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with where Jalen Brunson wound up. Go give that one a look. Subscribe right here to the channel. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.